Admiral Bauer, NATO's outgoing military committee chair, has issued a stark warning today, urging NATO countries to brace for war, to develop their economies and industries, to plan for a wartime scenario. His statement comes with the backdrop of heightened tensions with Russia, growing unease over China's influence, and the anticipation of a potentially unpredictable Trump administration returning to power. Bauer's remarks, made at a European Policy Centre event in Brussels, signal a shift in NATO's strategy, emphasising the role of economies as essential tools in modern warfare. And his address underscores a critical principle. While militaries may win battles, it's the economies that win wars. And he argues for Western businesses to diversify supply chains, to reduce dependency on potential adversaries like Russia and China. And he frames economic resilience as a form of deterrence. Says, if you can make sure that all crucial services and goods can be delivered no matter what, then that's a key part of our deterrence. And Bauer highlights vulnerabilities exposed by recent conflicts, particularly Europe's over-reliance on Russian energy, the pipelines built by Angela Merkel, and his reference to the Nord Stream sabotage, controversially attributed by journalist Seymour Hersh to US intelligence, and sort of foreshadowed by Joe Biden's cryptic comments caught on camera. It underscores how hybrid warfare tactics blur the lines between military and economic confrontation. And Bauer's warnings extend beyond Russia to China, cautioning against the strategic leverage Beijing could exert through its vast exports and European infrastructure ownership. And he urges businesses to recognize the strategic implications of their commercial decisions, suggesting that economic complacency could lead to vulnerability in times of conflict. We are naive if we think that the Chinese Communist Party will never use that power. It aligns with broader NATO concerns about China's Belt and Road initiative and its creeping influence in critical infrastructure, from ports to telecommunications. Huge ports, by the way. And the looming possibility of Donald Trump reclaiming the US presidency and then using it to do bizarre things complicates NATO's strategic calculus. Donald Trump is there. Donald Trump will be inaugurated in January. What will he do then? It's almost impossible to fathom out, except we should take heart from his statement that he thinks war is bad for business. European nations, notably France and the UK, have reportedly discussed increasing their defence spending. A leaked report from Le Monde hints at Franco-British talks about deploying troops to Ukraine to maintain strategic momentum in the absence of US support. That there are plans in place. The US, UK, Australian plan to forge ahead with speed in the development of superior hypersonic missiles. The Defence Minister's proposal to reduce AI-driven drones, or to produce AI-driven drones for Ukraine, and the debate over supplying Taurus missiles capable of long-range strikes, illustrates Europe's attempt to prepare for potential escalation, as also the commitment that Britain has made to delivering gas masks to Ukraine to deal with the increased problem of Russia gassing Ukrainian troops in trenches. Germany's internal divisions over arming Ukraine highlight the political tightrope that NATO members need to navigate. And Bauer's call reflects a broader trend in NATO's approach, recognizing that modern conflicts are fought as much in the business boardroom as they are on the battlefield. Cyber attacks supply chain sabotage, trade restrictions are increasingly wielded as weapons. So the weaponization of Russian gas exports during the Ukraine conflict demonstrated Europe's vulnerability. NATO nations have since prioritized energy diversification, though challenges still persist. China's dominance in rare earth minerals in global supply chains presents a strategic threat. European countries are exploring domestic production and allied partnerships to mitigate risks. Bauer's warnings are not just about readiness, but about a recalibration of how NATO perceives threats and deals with threats. His emphasis on aligning European strategies or economic strategies with military deterrence is a call for systemic change. Businesses and governments must view supply chains, energy security, technological independence as integral to national defence. And the call to arms, economically speaking, reflects a recognition of NATO's dependence on US leadership. With Trump's potential return, Europe's increased willingness to act autonomously, NATO must face a more fragmented strategic environment. Businesses must be prepared for war scenarios and adjust their production and distribution lines accordingly. He says, we thought we had a deal with Gazprom, but in reality we had a deal with Putin. And the commercial decisions that businesses make have strategic consequences on the security of their nations. His remarks and Admiral Bauer's remarks should be a wake-up call for NATO to fortify, for his members to fortify their economic defences alongside their military ones, whether responding to mounting Russian aggression, navigating the complexities of the US leadership change, or countering China's influence. The West needs to integrate economic and security strategy. As Bauer notes, the interconnectedness of the global economy means that preparation for war is no longer just a military endeavour but a social one. The time to act is now.